Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World. My name is Diana Skaya. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in India for a 4-day visit aimed at studying a partnership shaped by trade friction, energy security concerns, and wider geopolitical competition in the Indo-Pacific. My guest here with me today in studio is Tomasz Łukaszuk, research scientist at the Faculty of International Studies, of Political Science and International Studies at the University of Warsaw. Tomasz, so glad to have you here with me in studio this very Sunday evening.
Thank you.
All right, Łukasz, so let's begin. What would you say is the main goal of Marco Rubio's visit to India?
I would say olive branch first, because for the last months it was quite intensive dialogue between two capitals about tariffs, lowering them from 50% up to 18%. Another topic is that China just overtook United States as the biggest trade partner of India. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, certainly the situation in Hormuz Strait, which actually also, like for many other countries in South and East Asia, plays a critical role in energy security.
So do you think that, what's going to play out the biggest factor here, energy security or trade? I mean, especially let's talk about the relationship that they've had, right, lately, India and...
it's for India, Hormuz Strait, it's not only energy security because it's overall, trade factor. Not speaking about the biggest diaspora abroad. 9 million Indian citizens, already 8 because they evacuated 1 million. And also the trade between Gulf countries and India. But as it was stated during the press conference today, after talks between Foreign Minister of India, Jaishankar, and Marco Rubio, so it's multi-alignment of India's foreign policy helps India also to find solutions to the situations like the current one. India is a unique country having very good relations not only with the United States but also with Iran, with Gulf countries and others. So it could cope with the problems and it could find solutions. And for example, recently India reached agreement with Oman to construct the oil pipeline on the bottom of Arabian Sea, just to also to avoid problems with the oil transportation in the future. So it's for both foreign ministers. It wouldn't be really talk about nice topics. It would be very, very tough negotiations about how this Indian strategic autonomy and the relations with the United States would look like. India is expecting that the President Trump would attend at the end of this year the Quad summit, participation also with Australian Prime Minister and Japanese Prime Minister as well. But it's really a big question mark if the summit will
that's exactly what I do want to ask you. Do you think that the Quad is still a meaningful strategic platform, or maybe now it's becoming a lower, much perhaps a diplomatic forum?
No doubt. It's a meaningful strategic platform. But for sure, from the perspective of India, Australia, and Japan, it should not serve as an instrument of decoupling or confrontation with China. Because those.
But is it mainly driven by concerns over China?
No, it's not, because the very beginning of Quad, it was 2004. 22 years ago, and it was a matter of cooperation of both, the Indian Ocean countries and West Pacific countries. search and rescue, and the development of the infrastructure, because the maritime infrastructure is one of the key issues. And nowadays, also the Japanese Prime Minister and the Indian Prime Minister, they are in favor of adding also the artificial intelligence infrastructure, data infrastructure. I mean, all those modern technologies should also play important role. Those four countries, they have to keep a very intensive and very broad dialogue. We have to remember that for the dialogue, it means they should meet at least once or twice a year. This from this opinion of Japan or India. Once a year or every 2 years, it's not visible. It should be a proper intensive dialogue. Why? This is the instrument of the in Asia. This is an instrument of the diplomacy and also the instrument of reaching solutions to different situations. I mean, the Prime Minister Modi, Prime Minister of India, met Xi Jinping for the last 12 years more than 50 times. Wow. So, and India, Japan, and Australia were expecting that President Trump, if in his national security strategy, if he devoted 2 pages for Indo-Pacific, so they are expecting from President Trump to attach more attention and to come more often to the region. But from President Trump's administration, so Quad is not as efficient as it was during the first term of President Trump. So now is the question how they will use and what kind of leverage Japan, Australia and India will use to convince President Trump that he needs Quad cooperation.
Do you think they'll be successful in being able to convince him?
I mean, definitely they have. I would speak. I mean, the language of President Trump. They have a lot of cards in their hands, and Japan, as you know, they change now. They modus operandi. I mean, the Prime Minister of Japan now also issued the regulations allowing Japan to export armaments abroad, and it also allows for Japan to be more active also in securing in the Pacific area, and this actually in line of President Trump's requests towards all the allies, including also Poland. I mean, to be more active, to be more responsible, and also to spend more funds and for the armed forces capacities. And I think it would really help to convince President Trump that Quad could be really helpful to pursue his security strategy.
Let me ask you this. A little earlier on, you started mentioning, of course, the Iran. It came up. How do you think the instability around Iran and the Strait of Hormuz is actually affecting India's energy security and sourcing strategy?
So it affects, and they, as we perfectly know, they got permission from President Trump also to import more oil and gas from Russia, and they. But hopefully, what is the hope of the United States and also India, expressed by Minister Jaishankar and Secretary Rubio today during the press conference, that United States would help India in this particular situation, because they, as Minister Jaishankar emphasized, so this is the biggest population in the world, and they need more energy than every other nation. So that's why it's if United States would like to pursue its own national interests, so India is also has own national interests, and is expecting that the United States as a strategic partner could help India to also to solve the problems of energy security, because that is also not a matter of oil, and also an LNG. Like Poland, United Arab Emirates, it's also the biggest provider of LNG for India.
Let me ask you, what about, I mean, you did mention Russia earlier, what about India's relations with Russia?
Well, they have constant, very good relations, and as the current statement by Prime Minister Modi said, this is the all-weather strategic partner of India, and nothing gonna change this particular situation, because this understanding of diplomacy by India, multipolar alignment with all the partners, finding the balance between the superpowers, and India having also its own, let's say, vision of the role of India, not only in particularly in the region of the Indian Ocean, but also globally. I mean, growing from middle power up to the rising or emerging superpower, certainly not now, but following the path of China.
Thank you so much, Tomasz Łukaszuk, for being our guest here on World Talks today and discussing the latest for Marco Rubio's trip to India. And we will see how that will all unfold. And that's all for this edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Diana Skaya. Thanks for watching.